Imagine, if you will, a city of coral, just as the last rays of sunlight dissolve into the deep blue of twilight. The water is warm and still, delicate sea fans sway in a silent, gentle rhythm, and schools of tiny, iridescent fish drift like scattered jewels through the reef's quiet avenues. The world here is slowing down, preparing for the long, peaceful night. From the shadows of a deep crevice, a hunter emerges. A moray eel, a ribbon of pure muscle, glides through the water, its movements fluid and certain. It is searching. Its ancient eyes, sharp and focused, scan the landscape for any sign of a meal. It senses something nearby, a small, unassuming rock, covered in what looks like algae, nestled beside a sponge. The eel coils, its body tensing for the strike. It lunges. But in that instant, the rock seems to vanish, replaced by a ghostly cloud of iron of dark, swirling ink. The eel, confused, snaps at the empty water, the taste of the strange pigment its only reward. The reef is still once more, holding its breath. What just happened? Was it an illusion? A trick of the fading light? Or was it an act of startling genius? As we unravel this beautiful mystery tonight, I invite you to settle in, find a comfortable position, and let the gentle sounds of the ocean guide you toward rest. If you enjoy these quiet journeys, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more explorations into the natural world. It would be a joy to know where you are listening from, so please feel free to leave a comment with your city or country, and what time it is for you. It's a comfort to know we are all resting together. The ghost that vanished before the eel's very eyes was, of course, an octopus. It is a creature with no shell to protect it, no claws to defend it, and no sharp teeth to bite back. It is a masterpiece of vulnerability, a soft-bodied animal in a world of armor and aggression. And it is this very fragility that has forced the octopus to become one of the most intelligent beings in the ocean. Its survival depends not on strength, but on a mind capable of breathtaking creativity and deception. Tonight, we will drift alongside this master of disguise and discover the secrets to its survival. We will explore how it can wear the reef like a cloak, becoming truly invisible. We will learn the purpose of its mysterious ink, a substance that is so much more than a simple smokescreen. We will witness its incredible mind at work, solving problems that would stump almost any other animal. We will see how it moves, using methods of escape that are as clever as they are surprising. And finally, we will understand the desperate measures it will take when all other options have run out. So let your mind be still, and let us begin our descent into the world of the octopus, and ask ourselves, how does this gentle, intelligent creature outsmart every predator in the ocean? Our journey begins with the octopus's first and most profound secret, the art of becoming nothing at all. To witness it is to witness a quiet miracle. An octopus does not simply hide behind a rock, it becomes the rock. It does not just settle on the sand, it becomes the sand. This is not an illusion, but a biological superpower, a form of magic woven into its very skin. Imagine its skin as a living, breathing television screen, one of an impossibly high definition. This screen is made of 3 miraculous layers of specialized cells, all working in perfect, silent harmony. The topmost layer contains the chromatophores. You can picture these as millions of tiny elastic balloons, each one filled with a single color: black, brown, red, or yellow. On command, muscles no bigger than a speck of dust pull these balloons wide, revealing their color to the world, or allow them to shrink to a tiny, invisible point. Beneath them lie the iridophores, which are like tiny, shimmering mirrors. They don't create color, but instead reflect the light around them, capturing the shifting blues and greens of the water, allowing the octopus to glitter and shine just like the sun-dappled seafloor. And finally, the deepest layer holds the leucophores, which provide the canvas. They reflect the ambient light, scattering it to form a base of perfect, passive white, just like a patch of sun-bleached coral. What is truly breathtaking is that this entire system, this living tapestry of light and color, is connected directly to the octopus's brain. The change is not a slow, sluggish chemical reaction, like that of a chameleon. It is as fast as a thought. In less than a second, an octopus can flash from one intricate pattern to another, matching its surroundings with a precision that defies belief. It sees the world around it, and its skin simply obeys, painting a flawless portrait of its environment onto itself. But what of the feel of the world, the rough, jagged texture of a coral head or the smooth, undulating surface of the sand? An octopus can mimic this too. All over its body are tiny, muscular bundles called papillae. When it wishes to be smooth, these muscles relax, and its skin is like silk. But when it settles upon a reef, it can contract these muscles, pushing its skin up into a complex landscape of peaks and valleys, bumps and ridges, perfectly imitating the texture of the surface beneath it. Colour, pattern, and texture, all aligned in an act of instantaneous, silent disappearance. It is so effective that a predator can swim inches away, its eyes scanning directly over the octopus, and see nothing but an empty, uninteresting patch of seafloor. This is the art of becoming invisible. And just when you think you understand the depths of its deception, you discover that for some species, camouflage is only the beginning. For there is a difference between hiding and putting on a costume. On the sandy, open plains of the ocean floor, there is often nowhere to hide. It is here we meet the undisputed grandmaster of trickery, the mimic octopus. This creature takes the art of disappearing one step further into the realm of impersonation. It doesn't just blend in with the background, it actively transforms into other animals. Imagine watching as a mimic octopus finds itself in open water with a hungry fish approaching. Hiding is not an option, so it changes its plan. In a flash, it pulls all 8 of its arms together, flattens its body, and changes its colour to a sandy brown. It begins to undulate, gliding over the sand in the perfect imitation of a flounder, a harmless flatfish that the predator ignores. The danger passes. Later, when confronted by a different threat, it might adopt another persona. It could spread its arms wide, colour them with bold, contrasting stripes, and trail them like venomous spines, becoming the terrifying image of a lionfish. Or, most remarkable of all, it might bury its entire body and head in the sand, leaving just 2 arms visible, waving them in the water in the uncanny imitation of a venomous sea snake. This is not mere instinct. This is a display of profound intelligence. The octopus must understand the predator, know what it fears, and select the appropriate disguise from its mental catalogue of characters. And so, this soft, vulnerable creature survives against the ocean's keenest eyes, against the sharks, the dolphins, and the large fish that hunt by sight. The octopus deploys an unparalleled defense of illusion and deception. It can vanish into the scenery, or it can become a monster. And this raises our next question. What happens when a predator is not fooled by what it sees? What happens when the hunter gets too close? For that, the octopus has another, darker, and more mysterious trick waiting. We have seen how the octopus can vanish, merging with the world around it until it is nothing but a phantom. But what happens when this spectral defense fails? What happens when a predator's senses are too sharp, or its approach too swift, and the octopus is discovered? For this moment of sheer panic, it holds a second secret, a tool of confusion forged in darkness, its ink. To us, it appears as a simple smokescreen, a cloud of midnight that blooms in the water to block a predator's view. And while this visual confusion is part of its purpose, the true genius of the ink lies in what we cannot see. It is a profound act of chemical warfare. The ink is not just pigment, it is a complex cocktail, and its most potent ingredient is an enzyme that attacks the very senses a predator relies on. As the dark cloud envelops the hunter, this enzyme irritates its eyes, causing a stinging blindness. But more importantly, it paralyzes its sense of smell. For a creature like a shark or an eel, which navigates its world through scent, this is devastating. The trail doesn't just go cold, it is utterly erased. The water, once rich with the story of its prey, is now a silent, empty void. The octopus has not just blocked the predator's sight, it has deafened its most powerful sense. Yet, the artistry of this defense goes deeper still. An octopus is a strategist, and it knows that a simple, diffuse cloud might not be enough for a determined foe, and so it can perform an act of stunning deception. By carefully mixing its ink with a stream of sticky mucus, it can shape the cloud, giving it form and substance. It molds the ink into a cohesive, free-floating mass that is roughly the same size and shape as the octopus itself. This creation is known as a pseudomorph, a false body. Imagine the scene. The predator, having seen through the camouflage, lunges for what it believes is the octopus. But at the last second, the real octopus jets away, and in its place, this ghostly twin remains hanging in the water. The predator, driven by instinct, attacks the decoy. It sinks its teeth into the phantom, only for it to dissolve into a wispy, tasteless cloud. In that moment of confusion, that crucial second of bewilderment, the real octopus has already made its escape. It has likely changed its colour and texture once more, and by the time the predator realises it has been tricked, its prey is nowhere to be found. It has been duped into attacking a ghost, a sculpture made of ink and shadows. This is not a tool to be used lightly. The ink is a finite resource, a precious defence that takes time and energy to create. The octopus must therefore be deliberate. It assesses its foe with a cool intelligence. For a small, curious fish, a tiny puff of ink may be enough to startle it away. For a large, aggressive hunter, a vast, blinding cloud is required. And for a close and desperate encounter, it will conjure its ghostly double. This careful calculation reveals a mind that is constantly weighing risk and reward. And in the deepest, darkest parts of the ocean, where sunlight never reaches, this defense takes on an even more ethereal quality. Some deep-sea octopuses have evolved a different kind of ink, one that is not dark, but filled with bioluminescence. In the crushing blackness of the abyss, they don't defend with shadow, but with light. They release a sparkling, glittering cloud that dazzles and confuses nocturnal predators, painting with fire in a world of absolute night. The octopus has cheated the predator's eyes with its skin, and it has fooled its sense of smell with its ink. It has created a phantom to take its place in the jaws of death. It has proven that it is a master of physical and chemical illusion. But this leads us to an even more profound question. What if the predator is too fast, the space too confined, the attack so sudden that there is no time for these tricks? What happens when illusion is not enough? It is then that the octopus must rely on its greatest asset of all, its mind. We have journeyed through the octopus's world of illusion, a realm of skin that becomes stone and ink that becomes a ghost. But now we must drift deeper, beyond the physical and into the silent, intricate landscape of its mind. For it is here, in its very consciousness, that the octopus holds its most powerful and surprising secret. To understand an octopus, you must first understand its brain, which is a marvel of evolution, a design so different from our own, it feels almost alien. Imagine a mind that is not confined to one place. In our own bodies, our thoughts are nestled within our skulls, but an octopus wears its intelligence like a garment. While it has a central brain, a full 2/3 of its neurons, its thinking cells, are found woven throughout its 8 arms. Each arm has a mind of its own. It can taste, touch, and move with a startling degree of independence. An arm can be busy exploring the texture of a rock, investigating a crevice, or even attempting to solve a small problem, all while the octopus's central brain is contemplating something else entirely. It is a distributed intelligence, a council of minds working in concert, allowing for a level of multitasking that is difficult for us to even comprehend. Its brain-to-body size is the largest of any invertebrate on the planet, rivaling that of many birds and mammals. It is, in every sense, a thinking, feeling being. For a long time these were just observations, feelings we had about this strangely intelligent creature. But in the quiet, controlled environment of the laboratory, the true depth of its mind began to reveal itself. Imagine a clear glass jar, and inside a delicious crab. The lid is screwed on tightly. To nearly any other invertebrate, this food would be forever out of reach. But when this puzzle is presented to an octopus, something remarkable happens. It approaches not with brute force, but with curiosity. Its arms, each one a sensory organ and a problem-solving tool, begin to explore the jar. They trace the threads of the lid. They feel the resistance. And then, with a dexterity that seems impossible for a creature with no bones, it begins to turn. It understands the mechanics of the screw, the concept of lefty-loosey, and within moments, the jar is open, the reward claimed. It learns this trick quickly, and it does not forget. In other tests, these quiet minds have navigated complex mazes, remembering the correct path to a reward and solving the puzzle faster with each new attempt. They have even shown an incredible ability to recognize us. An octopus can learn to distinguish between individual humans, even those wearing identical uniforms. They will react differently to a person who has been kind to them, perhaps approaching the glass with gentle curiosity, than to one who has been unpleasant, whom they might greet with a defensive jet of water. This is not simple instinct. This is memory, association, and the foundation of a personality. But perhaps the most profound evidence of its intelligence can be found not in a lab, but on the vast, empty stretches of the ocean floor. It is here we witness something that scientists once believed was exclusive to humans, apes, and a few species of birds: the use of tools. We drift now to the sandy plains of Indonesia and watch the veined octopus. Here, there are few places to hide, so the octopus creates its own shelter. It will find two halves of a discarded coconut shell. These shells are cumbersome, awkward to carry, but the octopus persists. It will awkwardly scuttle across the sea floor, holding these two halves under its body. It looks strange, almost comical, but there is a deep purpose to its struggle. It is demonstrating foresight. It is carrying these shells because it knows that later, when it needs to rest on the exposed sand, it will need a sanctuary. When that time comes, it will pull the two halves together, creating a perfect, armoured sphere around its soft body. It has built a portable home. It has planned for the future. This is the mark of a truly advanced mind. It is the ability to look at an object, a simple coconut shell, and see not what it is, but what it could be. It is the ability to anticipate a need and prepare for it. And they don't stop with coconuts. We have seen them build protective walls of stone and shell around the entrance to their dens. We have seen them carry the stinging tentacles of a jellyfish, using them as a weapon. They are not just reacting to their world, they are actively shaping it to their needs. And so we see that the octopus' greatest defense is not its skin or its ink, but its mind. It survives because it can assess, remember, and create. It outthinks its predators. But what happens when even this brilliant mind is not enough? When a predator is too fast and an attack is too sudden for a clever plan to be formed, the octopus must then rely on its final set of secrets, a series of desperate and beautiful escapes. We have explored the octopus's mind, a place of quiet contemplation and brilliant problem-solving. But when thought turns to action, when the only answer is to flee, its body becomes an instrument of breathtaking escape. It is a creature of pure, fluid motion, untethered by the rigid constraints of bone. Its first and most dramatic escape is an act of silent, startling power. Imagine the octopus's body, its soft mantle, as a muscular chamber. In a moment of calm, it gently draws the surrounding water into this chamber, as if taking a slow, deep breath. But when danger strikes, this chamber becomes a powerful engine. In an instant, the octopus violently contracts every muscle in its mantle, forcing the water out through a small, steerable tube called a funnel. The result is jet propulsion. It becomes a living rocket, a ghost in the current, launching itself backward with a speed that can leave a predator grasping at empty water. But it is not just a blind burst of power. The funnel is agile, like a flexible rudder. By aiming it, the octopus can change direction in a fraction of a second, weaving through the intricate architecture of the reef with a grace and precision that is almost unbelievable. It is a dance of pure reactive instinct, a sudden and silent explosion away from harm. But not every escape needs to be so dramatic. A frantic flight can attract unwanted attention, and so the octopus has another, far more subtle, and perhaps even more intelligent, method of retreat. It can walk. We find ourselves watching an algae octopus on a busy reef. It senses a potential threat, but a sudden jet-propelled escape would alert every other hunter in the vicinity. So, it chooses a different strategy. It gathers 6 of its 8 arms up around its body, pulling them in tight. It changes its colour and texture to perfectly resemble a clump of drifting algae or a loose, rolling coconut. And then, on its 2 remaining arms, it begins to walk backward across the sea floor. It is a slow, deliberate, and almost comical motion, but it is an act of genius. To any passing predator, it is not an animal in retreat. It is just an inanimate object, a piece of detritus being gently pushed along by the current. It is moving away from danger without ever looking like it's escaping. This is not a flight of panic. It is a calculated, stealthy withdrawal. Yet what happens when there is nowhere to run? When the octopus finds itself cornered, trapped in a crevice, or even inside the very den of a predator? It is then that it reveals its most fundamental and liberating secret. It is a creature without form. The only truly hard part of an octopus's entire body is its beak, the small sharp mouth hidden at the center of its arms, which is made of the same substance as our own fingernails. This small beak is the key to its freedom. If the beak can fit through an opening, the rest of the octopus's soft, gelatinous body can flow through like water. Imagine being able to pour yourself through a crack in a wall, to squeeze through an opening no bigger than your own eye. This is the reality for an octopus. It can escape from sealed containers, slip through the tiniest gaps in a fishing net, and vanish through crevices that would seem impossibly small. It is the ocean's greatest escape artist because it is not a solid being, but a creature of liquid possibility. But we must imagine one final, desperate scenario. A predator has been too quick. It has not been fooled by camouflage. It has ignored the ink. And it has managed to catch the octopus, grabbing hold of one of its arms. There is no escape. It is in this final, terrifying moment that the octopus makes its greatest sacrifice. It can, at will, detach its own arm. The predator is left with its prize, a writhing, twisting limb that continues to change color, a phantom that holds all of its attention. The predator believes it has won, but the real octopus, now with 7 arms instead of 8, has already slipped away into the shadows. It has given up a piece of itself to save the whole. This incredible ability, known as autotomy, is its last resort. And while the sacrifice is great, it is not permanent. In the quiet safety of its den, over weeks and months, the octopus will regrow its lost arm, a quiet testament to its incredible resilience. From a silent, jet-propelled flight to a stealthy, 2-armed walk, from flowing like water through the tiniest crack to sacrificing a part of itself for survival, the octopus has an escape plan for every conceivable danger. Its body is a masterpiece of fluid design, ready to answer the call of its brilliant mind. As the gentle currents of the ocean drift through our minds, our journey with the octopus comes to a quiet end. We have floated alongside this soft-bodied marvel and witnessed the secrets of its survival, a masterclass in ingenuity, written in the language of light, ink, and thought. We have seen how it wears the reef like a cloak, its skin a living canvas that allows it to vanish into the scenery, a ghost that even the sharpest eyes cannot find. We have learned the dark magic of its ink, a chemical smokescreen that blinds and confuses, and a ghostly decoy that fools a predator into attacking a phantom. We have drifted through the quiet corridors of its incredible mind, a mind that can solve puzzles, plan for the future, and wield tools with a foresight that is nothing short of brilliant. We have watched it escape, sometimes with the explosive power of a rocket, and other times with the subtle, clever gait of a 2-armed walk. And we have understood its final, desperate sacrifice, the willingness to give up a part of itself to ensure the survival of the whole. These are not separate tricks, performed one at a time. They are an orchestra of survival, played in perfect harmony. In a single, fluid moment, an octopus can change its color, release a cloud of ink, and jet away, a multi-layered defense, so complex and so swift that it becomes virtually uncatchable. It does not survive because of one secret, but because it is a living, breathing tapestry of them all. We began our journey by seeing this creature as a masterpiece of vulnerability, but now we see it in a different light. It is a testament to a different kind of power, a quiet reminder that in the grand theatre of nature, strength is not always measured in teeth and claws. The octopus is a triumph of intelligence over armor, of wits over brute force. It is not just surviving in its dangerous world, it is thriving, outthinking the ocean's most formidable hunters at every turn. It is a sentient, conscious being, a quiet genius that earns not our fear, but our deepest respect. And this leaves us with one final, profound question. We have spent our time tonight exploring how this incredible mind works when it is in danger. We have seen its brilliance when its life is on the line. But what is that mind doing when it is safe? What does an octopus think about when it is not thinking about survival? What does it do for joy? Does it play? Does it dream? What secrets does it hold when it believes no one is watching? The story of its survival is only the first chapter. In our next journey together, we will seek to answer those very questions. We will move beyond the hunt and the escape and delve into the even more mysterious and astonishing secret life of cephalopods. But for now, let the gentle image of this remarkable creature guide you into your rest. Let the quiet darkness of the deep ocean bring you peace, and allow your mind to drift, as weightless and as free as the uncatchable ghost of the reef. In our last journey together, we drifted through the quiet world of a solitary genius. We watched the octopus, a creature of soft flesh and brilliant thought, as it wore the reef like a cloak and outwitted its foes with a mind as deep and mysterious as the ocean itself. But its story, as incredible as it is not a singular miracle. It is a single, perfect note in a much grander, more ancient symphony. The intelligence of the octopus is a family trait, a legacy shared by a hidden dynasty of thinkers that have ruled the oceans for eons. Tonight, we broaden our gaze to meet the rest of this remarkable family, the cephalopods. The name itself is a gentle poem, meaning head-foot, a perfect description for these beings whose arms and consciousness are so intimately entwined. They are a silent clan of artists, hunters, and survivors, and each one has taken that shared spark of genius and fanned it into a different kind of flame. Allow your mind to drift now, as we prepare to meet the others. We will encounter the cuttlefish, the living canvas of the shallows, a creature that paints its thoughts and feelings onto its own skin in shimmering, hypnotic waves of light. We will travel into the deep, open water to find the squid, the silent arrow of the abyss, a being built for breathtaking speed and epic, unseen dramas in the eternal twilight. And we will journey back through time itself to greet the nautilus, the serene time traveller, a living fossil that carries the spiral of ancient history in its beautiful chambered shell. Our last exploration was a portrait of a single incredible mind. Tonight we wander through a gallery, witnessing how that same ancestral brilliance has been shaped by time and tide into wonderfully different forms of life. We will see how this family has conquered every corner of the ocean, from the sunlit sands to the crushing black depths. And so, our new journey begins with the most dazzling member of the family. We have seen how the octopus can vanish, becoming one with the world around it. But what of its close cousin, the cuttlefish, which can perform the same miraculous feat, yet often chooses to do the very opposite? What purpose could there be for patterns that do nothing to hide it, but instead pulse with waves of iridescent, hypnotic light? How can a creature be both a master of camouflage and a dazzling living spectacle? We drift now, away from the deep, rocky crevices of the octopus and into the sun-dappled shallows, over meadows of seagrass and gentle, sandy plains. It is here we find our answer, in the form of the cuttlefish, the artist of the cephalopod family. The question we asked was how a creature could be both a master of invisibility and a dazzling spectacle of light. The answer is that for the cuttlefish, its skin is not merely a tool for survival, it is a language. Like the octopus, its skin is a living canvas, woven with those same miraculous cells. The chromatophores for colour, the iridophores for shimmer, and the leucophores for a pure white base. But the cuttlefish has refined this instrument to a level of artistry that is truly breathtaking. It has more of these cells packed into every inch of its skin, and its neural control over them is even more precise. Where an octopus paints with a broad brush, matching the general tone and texture of its surroundings, the cuttlefish paints with the finest of needles, creating patterns of impossible complexity and depth. It can become a perfect checkerboard. It can create intricate, moving zebra stripes. It can ripple with 1,000 tiny, pulsating dots. Its camouflage is so perfect, so absolute, that it can settle on a bed of sharp, contrasting gravel and vanish completely, each individual pebble rendered flawlessly on its back. But it is when the cuttlefish chooses not to hide that its true magic is revealed. Imagine one hovering motionless a few feet above the sand. A small, unsuspecting crab scuttles nearby. The cuttlefish does not lunge. Instead, it begins to perform. A deep, dark wave of colour materializes at the back of its body and begins to slowly ripple forward, a hypnotic, silent pulse of shadow. Another wave follows, and then another. This is the famous passing cloud, a display that has mesmerized divers and scientists for generations. It is believed to be a form of hypnosis. The constant rhythmic motion transfixes the crab, its simple nervous system unable to process the strange flowing pattern. The cuttlefish all the while drifts closer, a silent predator cloaked in a beautiful, moving illusion, until it is close enough to strike. This living light show becomes even more spectacular when cuttlefish meet one another. During mating season, the reef becomes a silent ballroom. Males will use their skin to put on vibrant, ostentatious displays, flashing with iridescent greens, blues, and golds. They are communicating their strength, their fitness, their intentions, all through this silent, beautiful language of light. It is a ballet of colour and pattern, a conversation held in a medium we can barely begin to comprehend. To understand how they can be such masters of light, we must also understand how they see. Their eyes are as alien and as beautiful as their skin. The pupil is not a simple circle like our own, but a gracefully curved W-shaped wave. This strange and elegant shape gives them an incredibly wide field of vision, allowing them to see both behind and in front of themselves at the same time. But their vision has an even deeper secret. They can see polarized light. For us, light is just brightness and color. But light waves also have an orientation, a direction in which they vibrate. Cuttlefish can perceive this orientation. It is a hidden dimension of vision, and it allows them to send messages to each other that are completely invisible to other animals. A cuttlefish can make a pattern on its skin that looks like plain, flat color to a predator, but to another cuttlefish, it shines with a secret polarized message. It is a private, secure channel of communication, and they use this channel for acts of stunning deception, revealing a mind of quiet cunning. Imagine a large, powerful male flashing his brilliant colors to guard a group of females. A smaller, less impressive male approaches. He knows he cannot win in a direct confrontation, so he engages in a beautiful act of trickery. On the side of his body facing the large male, he displays the drab, mottled pattern of a female. The guard male sees this and pays him no mind. But on the side of his body facing the females, the sneaker male flashes his most brilliant, seductive mating patterns. He is holding two completely different conversations at the same time, showing one face to his rival and another to his potential mates. He is a master of disguise and diplomacy, a testament to a mind that can strategize, deceive, and think its way around a problem. The cuttlefish, then, is the hypnotist of the reef, a creature of artistry and cunning. Its life is a slow, deliberate dance of light and shadow. But this leads us to wonder about its closest cousin. What of the squid? It shares the same body, the same skin, the same intelligent eyes. Why did its path through time lead not to hypnotic art, but to a life of pure, terrifying speed? What secrets does the arrow of the deep hold in the cold, open blackness of the ocean? We leave the hypnotic artist, the cuttlefish, to its silent ballet of light on the reef. We now drift away from the seafloor, out into the vast, open, and starless water of the mid-ocean. Here, there are no gardens of coral to hide in, no sandy plains to vanish into. This is a world of endless blue, and survival here demands a different kind of genius. It is the home of the squid, and its life is not one of slow, careful artistry, but of silent, breathtaking velocity. Where the cuttlefish is a living canvas, the squid is a living arrow. Its body has been sculpted by the currents for a single purpose: speed. It is a perfect, muscular torpedo, tapering to a point. Its fins are not for gentle hovering, but act as stabilizers, like the feathers on an arrow's shaft, keeping it true on its path. And its mantle, that same chamber we have seen in its cousins, has become a jet engine of unparalleled power. It breathes in the ocean and fires it out with a focused, percussive force that propels it through the water with an astonishing, silent grace. It does not hide from danger, it outruns it. It is a creature born of the chase, a whisper of motion in the boundless expanse. And this family of arrows is vast and varied. In the warm waters near the surface, we can find small, social reef squid, hovering in shimmering schools. They are like a flock of hummingbirds, their bodies flashing with quick, silver messages to one another, their fins fluttering like delicate wings. They live a life of light and quickness, a constant communal dance. But as we drift deeper, down into the twilight zone, where the sun is just a faint memory, we meet their larger, more mysterious kin. We enter the realm of legends. Here, in the crushing pressure and the profound cold, lives the giant squid. For centuries it was only a myth, a creature of sailors' tales, its existence known only from the immense rubbery bodies that occasionally washed ashore. But now we know it is real. Imagine a creature as long as a bus, with eyes the size of dinner plates, the largest eyes of any animal on our planet, designed to gather the faintest glimmers of bioluminescent light in the absolute darkness. Its arms, lined with powerful suckers, are instruments of silent, deadly grace. It is a titan of the deep, a lonely, gentle giant, drifting through a world of eternal night. And it is here, in this deep, quiet world, that one of the planet's greatest and most secret dramas unfolds. The only other creature to rival the giant squid in this realm is the sperm whale, another titan of the abyss. For ages, the only evidence of their meeting were the strange circular scars that mark the whale's skin, perfect imprints of the squid's powerful suckers. Now we understand that these are the marks of an ancient silent dance. We can only imagine the scene, the great whale descending into the blackness, and the squid, a phantom of the deep, rising to meet it. It is not a battle of noise and fury, but a slow, graceful, and titanic struggle in the dark. A drama of two incredible intelligences meeting in a world we can barely imagine. In this world without sun, the squid had to learn to create its own light. Its skin is dotted with photophores, living jewels that can glow with a cold chemical fire. It uses this light not for brilliant displays, but for the most subtle of deceptions. As it drifts through the water, it will turn on tiny lights along its belly, perfectly matching the faint glimmer of the water from above. To any predator looking up from the deeper darkness, the squid simply does not exist. It has vanished into a curtain of its own making, a technique called counter-illumination. It is another form of invisibility, a cloak woven from starlight. The squid, then, is a creature of motion and mystery, a silent hunter of the open water. Its life is fleeting, a bright flash of speed in the darkness. But there is one last member of this incredible family we have yet to meet. The squid, the octopus, and the cuttlefish are all creatures of soft flesh and brilliant, brief lives. There is another, however, who traded this fleeting speed for ancient armor, a creature that has carried its home on its back for 500 million years. How has this living fossil, the Nautilus, survived unchanged, while its cousins raced down such a different and dazzling evolutionary path? We leave the squid to its silent, fleeting chases in the open darkness. Our journey now takes us deeper, not just into the ocean, but into time itself. We are in search of a creature that chose a different path from its swift and soft-bodied cousins. It did not trade its defenses for speed. Instead, it built a fortress, a home it has carried on its back for nearly 500 million years. We are here to meet the Nautilus, the serene keeper of ancient memories, a living fossil drifting through the modern world. To look upon a Nautilus is to look upon a miracle of natural architecture. Its home is a perfect pearlescent spiral, a pattern that echoes the shape of galaxies and the unfurling of a fern frond. It is one of nature's most beautiful and fundamental forms. This shell is its armor, its sanctuary, and the secret to its quiet life. But its true wonder is hidden from view. Inside, the shell is not a single hollow chamber, but a series of rooms, a growing spiral mansion that the Nautilus builds throughout its life. As it slowly grows, it seals off the room it has outgrown, creating a new, larger living space for itself at the opening. Each sealed chamber is a perfect record of its past, a quiet monument to its own growth. Running through the center of every single one of these sealed, empty rooms is a delicate, living thread of tissue called the siphuncle. This is the key to its mastery of the deep. Through this fragile cord, the Nautilus can carefully pump gas and fluid into its empty ancestral rooms. It does not swim so much as it drifts. By meticulously adjusting the amount of gas in its shell, it can become perfectly buoyant, hovering weightlessly in the water. It can rise slowly and silently from the deep, dark slopes where it spends its days, up to the shallower reefs to feed in the peace of the night, all with the barest minimum of effort. It is a life of perfect balance, of quiet, effortless grace, made possible by the beautiful mathematical precision of its home. And just as its body is different, so is its perception of the world. We have seen the sharp, intelligent eyes of the octopus and the mesmerizing W-shaped pupils of the cuttlefish. The Nautilus sees the world through a much softer lens. Its eye is a simple marvel, a pinhole camera with no lens at all. It is just a small open cup. This eye cannot see sharp details or vibrant colors. It sees a world of gentle shapes, of light and shadow, of movement and stillness. It is a dreamy, blurry vision, perfectly suited to the dim, quiet light of the deep sea, where clear focus is less important than noticing the gentle silhouette of a passing creature. Its other senses are just as unique. Where the octopus has 8 arms, the Nautilus has nearly 90 slender, delicate tentacles. They are not lined with powerful suckers. Instead, they are coated in chemical sensors. The Nautilus does not see its world in detail. It tastes and smells it. As it drifts just above the seafloor, its tentacles gently brush against the sand and rock, reading the story of the ocean through scent. It is in this way that it finds its food, not as a hunter, but as a patient, methodical scavenger. It lives a slow and peaceful life, waiting for the scent of a meal to drift towards it on the deep, silent currents. It is a life of patience, of conservation, of quiet waiting. The Nautilus, then, is a beautiful paradox. It is a member of the most intelligent family of invertebrates, yet it lives a simple, ancient life. It reminds us that there is more than one path to success. It chose resilience over speed, patience over aggression, and armor over agility. It has drifted through all the ages of the world, a serene survivor from a time long past. And so we have met the 4 great members of this family: the cunning octopus, the hypnotic cuttlefish, the swift squid, and the ancient Nautilus. Their bodies are so different, their lives so unique. And this leads us to our deepest question yet. What must it be like to experience the world through these minds? How can we possibly begin to understand what it feels like to be a genius with no bones, or a time traveler with no lens? We have journeyed alongside these 4 quiet masters of the ocean, and we have seen that while they are family, they are each unique. The thinking, problem-solving octopus, the hypnotic, artistic cuttlefish, the swift, reactive squid, and the ancient, serene Nautilus. Their minds, like their bodies, have been shaped by different needs and different worlds. To try and understand them is to imagine a whole spectrum of consciousness, a different way of being for each. Let us imagine, for a moment, what it might feel like to be an octopus. Your thoughts would not live entirely in your head. They would flow outwards, down into your arms, each one a curious, intelligent extension of yourself. You would think with your entire body. An arm might be exploring the texture of a stone, another tasting the water for the faint scent of food, a third working to twist open a shell, all while your central mind simply observes, a quiet and curious king on a throne of 8 wise counselors. Your world would be a constant, gentle cascade of information, a world of texture, taste, and touch, as much as it is of sight. Now let us imagine our consciousness shifting, flowing into the form of a cuttlefish. Here, your mind would be a painter. Your thoughts would not be abstract, but would translate instantly into colour and light upon your own skin. To feel curious would be to ripple with a soft, inquisitive pattern. To feel threatened would be to flash with a stark, dramatic warning. Your very being would be a conversation with the world. Your skin, the silent mouth through which you speak. you would see the world not just in colour, but in the secret language of polarized light, a dimension of reality hidden to almost every other eye, a private channel of shimmering messages just for you and your kind. Then we can imagine the mind of the squid, a mind of pure, streamlined focus. It is a consciousness built for the open water, a mind that does not linger or ponder, but reacts with the speed of thought. It is the mind of an arrow in flight, focused on the path ahead, on the subtle change in pressure that signals prey, or the shadow that means predator. It is a life of instinct and velocity, a brilliant, fleeting spark in the vast, quiet dark. And finally, there is the mind of the nautilus, a mind of deep, ancient peace. It is a consciousness that does not worry about the future, for it is wrapped in the safety of its past. It is a slow, methodical, and gentle way of being, a mind that has found a perfect, simple harmony with the world and has seen no reason to change for 500 million years. And the world these minds experience is so much richer than our own. Imagine reaching out an arm and with a single gentle touch, not only feeling the shape and texture of a shell, but tasting its very essence. The suckers that line the arms of the octopus and cuttlefish are not just for gripping. They are covered in chemical receptors. They have, in a very real sense, a combined sense of taste and touch. Their arms are both fingers and tongues, allowing them to understand the world with an intimacy we can barely conceive of. They also feel the ocean in ways we cannot. They are creatures of perfect fluid dynamics, and their skin is incredibly sensitive to the faintest change in water pressure, to the most subtle vibrations. They can feel the silent, invisible wake of a distant fish. They can feel the gentle, rhythmic pulse of the tide. The ocean is not a silent place to them. It is a symphony of movement, a world of unheard sounds that they feel all over their bodies. And in their quiet moments, what do? We have seen them play. We have seen an octopus again and again push a bottle to the other side of its tank, just to watch it be swept back by the current, a game of its own invention. We have seen them show profound curiosity, exploring new objects not for food, but seemingly for the simple joy of understanding. It asks us to wonder if a mind so different from our own can still have an inner life, can still feel a sense of play or wonder or contentment. The answer seems to be a quiet, gentle yes. So let your mind drift on this final thought. Try to imagine it. To think with your arms, to speak with your skin, to see secret messages in the light, to feel the silent music of the water, to pour your body through the smallest cracks, to be a creature not of solid bone, but of fluid, flowing thought. These magnificent minds have conquered every corner of the ocean with their quiet, alien genius. They are the ultimate masters of adaptation. But this leads us to one last lingering question. How are these ancient and brilliant survivors, facing the challenges of a world that is now changing faster than ever before in their long, silent history? Our quiet journey through this gallery of minds is now coming to a gentle close. We have floated through the silent, deep halls of an ancient family and paid our respects to each of its most remarkable members. We began with the octopus, the solitary philosopher, in its garden of stone, a being of pure thought that can solve any puzzle and pour itself through the cracks of the world. We drifted into the light to meet the cuttlefish, the living canvas, a creature that speaks in hypnotic, shimmering waves of colour, an artist whose every feeling is a masterpiece painted upon its own skin. From there, we launched ourselves into the open dark, with the squid, the arrow of the abyss, a creature of silent speed and epic unseen dramas, a fleeting spark of life in the eternal twilight. And finally, we travelled back through time itself to greet the nautilus, the serene time traveller, a living jewel that has carried the perfect, peaceful spiral of its home through all the ages of the world. Though they are so different, a single beautiful thread connects them all. They are the product of another path, a completely separate journey toward intelligence on our planet. They are a testament to the idea that a mind does not need a backbone, that consciousness does not need to be shaped like our own to be profound. Their genius is a fluid, adaptable, and quiet kind of wisdom, born of the water itself. From the shallowest sunlit reef to the deepest, coldest, most crushing abyss, they have found a way to not just survive, but to master their world. They are one of evolution's great success stories, a quiet dynasty of thinkers that has reigned in the ocean, unseen, for hundreds of millions of years. And so we come to our final question. In a world that is now changing faster than ever before, a world of warming waters and shifting currents, how are these ancient minds faring? The answer, like the creatures themselves, is full of quiet surprises. For some, like the ancient Nautilus, the future is fragile. Its slow, deliberate way of life, which has been its strength for so long, now makes it vulnerable. It cannot adapt as quickly as the world is changing around it. But for many of its soft-bodied, fast-living cousins, the story is different. In a strange and beautiful paradox, many octopus, squid, and cuttlefish populations are thriving. Their genius for adaptation, it seems, is more powerful than we ever imagined. Their short, vibrant lives allow them to adjust to new realities with incredible speed. As other, slower breeding sea creatures struggle with the changing conditions, these cephalopods are quietly, intelligently, and gracefully filling the spaces left behind. They are a testament to the profound power of adaptability. It is a quiet, hopeful reminder that even in the face of immense challenge, the genius of life will find a way. Their story is not just one of survival, but of astonishing resilience. And now, it is time for our own journey to end. Let your mind be still. Let these images be a gentle, parting gift to your dreams. Picture the soft, silent pulse of a cuttlefish's skin, a wave of peaceful colour washing over you. Imagine the graceful, effortless drift of the Nautilus, spiralling down into a deep and peaceful rest. Feel yourself become as fluid and as free as an octopus, letting go of the solid world and all its cares. These creatures, in their quiet, alien wisdom, remind us that the world is full of endless, beautiful wonder, and that the greatest mysteries are often held in the deepest, most silent places. Let their peace be your peace. Let the gentle, quiet dark of the deep ocean cradle you now, as you drift into a deep and restful sleep. In our last quiet exploration, we drifted through the very consciousness of the cephalopod family. We imagined the world through their alien eyes, felt the ocean with their sensitive skin, and marvelled at the different kinds of genius held within the minds of the octopus, the cuttlefish, and the squid. We learned how they think, but the true measure of a brilliant mind is not just in its ability to solve a puzzle, but in its power to turn any corner of the world into a home. And so tonight, we return to our familiar friend, the octopus, the master of quiet contemplation and clever solutions. We will drift alongside it as it shows us the vast and varied mansions it has built for itself across the entire ocean. We will see that the ocean is not one single place, but a planet of hidden realms, each with its own silent rules, its own unique challenges, and its own profound beauty. Imagine, if you will, sun-baked pools of water left behind by the moon, worlds that appear and disappear with every tide. Picture immense underwater forests, their tall green fronds swaying in a slow and silent dance. Think of impossible oases of life huddled for warmth around volcanic chimneys in the deepest darkness, and the immense crushing peace of the ocean's most secret, silent floor. These are the homes of the octopus. For the octopus was born with a universal key. Its genius mind, its boneless flowing body, and its curious tasting arms are not adaptations for just one world. They are a toolkit that has granted it access to every hidden realm. It is the ultimate survivor, a quiet spirit that has learned to be at home everywhere, from the warmest, brightest light to the coldest, most absolute dark. Our journey tonight begins in the place we picture most often, a bustling city of coral shimmering in the gentle tropical sun. It is a paradise of vibrant colour and endless life. But this beauty is a deception. The reef is a sunlit labyrinth, and its brilliant light exposes all who live there to the keen eyes of hungry hunters. How does this soft-bodied genius survive in a world where every beautiful crevice can also be a deadly trap, and where the very light that gives the reef its beauty also makes it impossible to hide? The coral reef is a world of breathtaking beauty, a silent city of living jewels bathed in warm, tropical light. But for the creatures who live here, this paradise is filled with peril. The very light that nourishes the coral and illuminates its vibrant colours also acts as a spotlight, leaving nowhere to hide. The endless, intricate corridors of the reef, which provide so much life, also provide a home for the ocean's highest concentration of hunters. Moray or eels, with their powerful jaws, patrol the crevices. Swift, muscular groupers hover like sentinels in the open water, and sleek reef sharks glide silently along the edges, their ancient eyes missing nothing. For a soft, vulnerable octopus, this beautiful, sunlit labyrinth should be a death trap. Instead, it is a fortress. The octopus survives here because its very body is the master key to this intricate world. A fish, with its rigid skeleton, is confined to the open avenues of the reef. An eel, for all its flexibility, can only fit where its skull can pass. But the octopus, with no bones to bind it, is a creature of pure, fluid possibility. The entire reef becomes its personal sanctuary. A crack no wider than a whisper is a doorway. A tiny hollow tube inside a sponge is a secret room. A discarded shell is an impenetrable vault. The octopus can flow like water through the reef's hidden architecture, disappearing into 1,000 places that no predator can ever reach. Its brilliant mind works like a master cartographer, creating a detailed, three-dimensional map of its neighborhood. It doesn't just see a wall of coral, it sees a network of tunnels, a system of secret passages, and a web of escape routes that it has memorized with perfect clarity. And in the bright, unforgiving sunlight, it must become a ghost. Its miraculous skin, which we have marveled at before, is pushed here to its most artistic and most necessary limits. It is not enough to be brown on a brown rock. The octopus must become the living, breathing texture of the reef itself. It must replicate the exact pattern of the brain coral, the precise porous surface of a sea sponge, the gentle, mottled colours of an algae-covered stone. It must become so completely a part of the landscape that the keenest eye in the ocean will pass over it, seeing nothing but another beautiful, uninteresting piece of the city. It hides in plain sight, a silent, invisible citizen of the sunlit world. Now let us drift from the stable, though dangerous, world of the reef to the very edge of the ocean, to a realm of even greater challenge. We find ourselves in the tidal zone, a world that exists between two worlds. This is the most chaotic of all marine environments. Twice a day, it is a place of pounding, churning waves, and twice a day, it is left exposed to the intense, baking heat of the sun. The water that remains in the shallow tide pools can become dangerously warm, its saltiness changing with the rain or the evaporation. It is a world of constant, violent change, a home fit for only the most resilient and adaptable of beings. And here, too, the octopus is a quiet master. We can watch as a common octopus finds its tide pool while shrinking under the hot sun. It knows, with an intelligence that seems to understand the distant pull of the moon, that it must move, and so it does something that seems impossible. For a creature of the sea, it crawls out of the water, holding a precious, life-giving breath of seawater within its mantle. It moves across the exposed, damp rock, its arms pulling its body along with a strange, alien grace. It is on a quest, exploring this temporary landscape of land and air, searching for the scent of a deeper, safer pool of water. It is an amphibious being, at home in both worlds, a testament to its profound ability to adapt. It can hunt for crabs trapped in one pool, and then, when it has exhausted its search, it can journey over land to the next. It has conquered a world that is neither land nor sea, by being a master of both. We have seen our soft-bodied hero thrive in the solid, intricate world of the reef, its body a key, its mind a map. But what happens when the landscape is not made of stone? What happens when the world itself is fluid, graceful, and in constant gentle motion? How does the octopus navigate the towering, swaying corridors of the underwater kelp forests, a world of perpetual, shifting twilight? We leave the bright, solid world of the coral behind us now, drifting into cooler, deeper waters. Before us, a new kind of city rises from the dim seafloor. This is not a city of stone, but a forest of life. We have arrived in the quiet, swaying kingdom of the kelp. Imagine endless, amber-coloured trees, their trunks slender and graceful, rising hundreds of feet from the darkness below. Their leaves do not rustle in the wind, but sway in a slow and silent rhythm, moved by the deep, ancient breath of the ocean. At the surface, they form a thick, tangled canopy, capturing the sunlight and casting long, shifting columns of green and gold light down into the peaceful twilight below. This is a world of perpetual, gentle motion, a cathedral of swaying, silent giants. For many creatures, this constant movement and vertical landscape would be a disorienting challenge. But for the octopus, it is a perfect three-dimensional playground. Its soft body and 8 powerful arms make it as adept at climbing as it is at crawling. It can ascend a towering kelp stalk with an effortless grace, its suckers gripping the smooth, slippery surface without a falter. It can navigate the dense canopy with the ease of a monkey in the treetops, moving from one broad frond to another. The entire forest, from the dark, tangled roots at the very bottom to the bright, oxygen-rich leaves at the very top, is its home. It is not confined to the forest floor, but is a true citizen of this vertical world. But how does one hide in a forest that never stands still? Mimicking a static rock or a piece of coral is no use here. In the kelp forest, the octopus must become part of the dance. And so it does. It will wrap itself around a kelp stalk, its skin taking on the exact shade of olive and amber, its texture becoming as smooth and rubbery as the plant it clings to. But it does more than just look the part. As the kelp sways gently back and forth in the current, the octopus sways with it, in perfect, silent synchrony. It becomes a living frond, a seamless part of the forest's endless, rhythmic motion. A passing fish or a hunting seal will see nothing but another piece of the gently moving landscape. This forest is a rich hunting ground. The octopus moves slowly through the swaying towers, its sensitive arms exploring every surface, searching for the small snails, crabs, and other creatures that make their own homes on the kelp. It is a quiet, methodical hunter in a quiet, methodical world. But it is also hunted. This forest is the preferred hunting ground of seals and sea otters, sleek, intelligent mammals that are perfectly at home in these tangled corridors. They are swift and sharp-eyed. The octopus's only defense is its profound connection to its environment. At the first sign of danger, it does not flee in a panic, for there is nowhere to flee to. Instead, it freezes, its body melting into the kelp, its rhythm becoming the rhythm of the water. It trusts the forest to hide it, and the forest, in its gentle, swaying way, obliges. Imagine what this world must feel like to the octopus. It is a world of constant, gentle touch, the soft, smooth caress of the kelp fronds always against its skin. It is a world of shifting, dappled light, of sunbeams that pierce the canopy and dance in the water, only to be extinguished as a shadow passes overhead. It is a world of muffled silence, where sound is absorbed by the dense, soft walls of the living forest. It is a peaceful, enclosed, and ever-moving world, and the octopus is in perfect harmony with it. We have now seen our quiet hero thrive in worlds built by living things, the tiny animals that build the vast coral reef, and the towering algae that create the majestic kelp forest. Its genius lies in its ability to become one with the life around it. But this leads us to a more profound and difficult question. Can its incredible toolkit, this body and mind of endless adaptability, allow it to survive in a place that seems actively hostile to life itself? Can the octopus find a home in the crushing, absolute darkness, next to scalding, toxic geysers erupting from the very floor of the ocean? We leave the swaying, sun-dappled forest of kelp far above us, a distant green memory. Our journey now takes us down, deeper and deeper, into the truest heart of the ocean. The last remnants of sunlight have long since faded. The water, which was cool, is now becoming intensely cold. and the gentle pressure of the water around us is growing into an immense, silent weight. We are drifting down through a world of absolute, unending night, a realm of profound peace and solitude. Down and down we go until we arrive at the very floor of the ocean. And here, in the crushing dark, we find a landscape unlike any other on our planet. Before us rises a forest of silent, dark chimneys, each one venting what looks like thick black smoke into the water. But this is not smoke. It is a cloud of superheated water, rich with minerals from the very core of our world. We have arrived at a hydrothermal vent field, a place where the earth itself breathes its inner fire into the cold, quiet dark of the ocean. This is an oasis, powered not by the distant sun, but by the raw geothermal heat from deep within the planet. And in this place that seems so hostile, so toxic, and so extreme, there is, impossibly, a thriving city of life. Here, strange, ghostly white crabs scuttle across the dark rock, their shells like porcelain in the gloom. Forests of giant tube worms stand in dense thickets, their soft, blood-red plumes swaying gently in the warm, shimmering water, and strange pale fish drift like spectres through the dark clouds. All of this life is powered by a miracle. Tiny bacteria, the very foundation of this hidden world, have learned to feed on the harsh, sulphurous chemicals that pour from the vents. They have learned to create life not from light, but from the planet's inner warmth. This is a world running on a completely different set of rules, a secret garden in the abyss. And living here, among the ghosts, is a very special kind of octopus. It is known as Octopus hydrothermalis, a creature so specialized it is found nowhere else on Earth. It is the ghost of the vents. As it emerges from a crevice, we can see that it is a pale, ethereal creature, almost white. In this world of eternal night, it has no need for the vibrant, color-changing skin of its shallow water cousins. There is no one to hide from with color, no one to impress with brilliant displays. And so, its skin is a simple, ghostly white, a quiet adaptation to the endless dark. How does it survive in a world of such extremes? Its boneless body, that universal key, is once again its greatest asset. It allows it to nestle deep within the cracks and fissures of the rock, finding a perfect refuge where the water is warm but not scalding. It can feel the delicate boundary between life-giving warmth and lethal heat. Its sensitive arms, which can taste the very water around them, become its eyes and nose in this chemical soup. It can follow the faint trails of minerals to find its prey, the strange crabs and shrimp that have also made this impossible world their home. Its entire being is a quiet miracle of adaptation, its metabolism somehow tuned to withstand a cocktail of pressure, temperature, and chemicals that would be instantly fatal to almost any other creature we know. It is a life lived on the very edge of possibility. We have now found our octopus thriving in a tiny oasis of impossible heat and life, huddled close to the planet's inner fire. But this oasis is small, an isolated island in a vast and desolate sea. What of the endless, cold, empty plains of mud and silt that stretch for millions of miles beyond this volcanic garden? What kind of octopus could possibly survive out there, in the most extreme environment on our planet, the crushing, freezing, and utterly lightless expanse of the abyssal zone? We leave the strange, warm city of the vents behind us now, a tiny, isolated island of volcanic life. We drift out over the vast, empty plains that cover most of our world's hidden floor. We have arrived in the final realm, the most extreme environment on our planet, the abyssal zone. The word itself sounds like a deep, quiet breath. Here, the weight of the world is a gentle but immense presence. The water above, miles deep, creates a pressure that is hundreds of times greater than at the surface. A crushing force that we can only imagine as a profound and silent stillness. The cold here is absolute, a near freezing temperature that never changes, a deep and endless peace, and the darkness is perfect. No ray of sun has ever touched this world. It is a realm of eternal, tranquil night. Food is incredibly scarce here. Life is sustained by a constant, gentle rain of tiny organic particles that drift down from the sunlit world far, far above. This delicate shower, known as marine snow, is the only nourishment in this vast, empty desert. It is a world that seems to demand stillness, to reward patience, and to punish any waste of precious energy. And yet, even here, in this place of profound emptiness and peace, an octopus has made its home. From the soft, deep darkness, a gentle ghost appears. It does not swim or crawl. It seems to fly through the water, propelled by two large, soft fins on the sides of its head that look for all the world like a pair of gentle, flapping ears. This is the creature we call the Dumbo octopus, and it is perhaps the most ethereal and dreamlike of all its kin. Its body is soft and translucent, a bell of pale, gelatinous tissue that seems barely held together. Its eyes are large, dark, and soulful, built to capture the faintest possible glimmer of light in this world of absolute black. It is not a creature of action or aggression. It is a creature of pure, gentle grace, a silent dancer in the deepest, most peaceful ballroom in the world. It survives here because its body is a masterpiece of deep-sea design. It has none of the dense muscle of its shallow water cousins. Its body is made mostly of water and soft tissue, its composition not so different from the water around it. This means the immense pressure of the abyss flows through it as if it isn't there. It is immune to the crushing weight of the world because it is in perfect equilibrium with it. Its unique ear-like fins provide a way to move that is impossibly slow and graceful, but also incredibly efficient. With a gentle rhythmic flap, it can soar through the water for hours, using almost no energy at all, a crucial adaptation in a world where the next meal may be days or weeks away. It lives a life of quiet, patient searching. It drifts through the eternal night, its large, sensitive eyes, looking for the only light that ever exists here, the faint, beautiful flashes of bioluminescence from the tiny creatures that share its home. When it spies the glimmer of a small crustacean or a tiny drifting jellyfish, it does not strike with speed. It gently descends, its 8 arms connected by a soft webbing of skin. It opens this web like a net, enveloping its tiny meal with a slow, deliberate grace. And then, to conserve every last calorie, it swallows its food whole, saving the energy it would have taken to bite or tear. In this world, the classic defenses of the octopus are reimagined. Ink, a tool for visual confusion, is useless in a world without sight, and complex camouflage is replaced by the simple, perfect camouflage of being dark and quiet in a world that is already dark and quiet. From the sun-drenched chaos of the tide pools to the silent, crushing peace of the abyss, the octopus has found a way. It has bent its body, its skin, and its mind to the unique and profound challenges of each new world. Seeing this incredible range, this mastery of every hidden realm, what does this tell us, not just about this one remarkable animal, but about the very nature of life itself, and the quiet, deep resilience that can be found in the most beautiful and extreme places on our own planet? Our gentle drift through the hidden realms of the ocean is now coming to an end. We have travelled from the brightest light to the deepest dark, and in every secret corner of the world, we have found our quiet, 8-armed, our friend, waiting for us. We have floated through the sunlit labyrinth of the coral reef, a city of stone where the octopus becomes a living map, its body a key to 1,000 secret doors. We felt the sun on our backs in the ever-changing world of the tide pools, where the octopus becomes a brave explorer, venturing between land and sea with the rhythm of the moon in its mind. We swayed in the silent underwater cathedrals of the kelp forests, where the octopus became a part of the dance, a living leaf in a world of gentle, constant motion. We descended into a world of impossible darkness and heat, to the volcanic chimneys of the hydrothermal vents, and found the octopus there, a pale ghost thriving in a toxic garden, a testament to life's tenacity. And finally, we drifted through the profound, crushing peace of the abyssal plains, and met the most ethereal octopus of all, a gentle spirit flying on soft wings through a world of eternal, tranquil night. In each of these worlds, we have seen how the octopus does not just survive, it belongs. It does not conquer these realms, it joins them. And the secret to its universal success is that its most fundamental gifts are not for one world, but for all of them. Its boneless body is its greatest treasure. In the reef, it makes the octopus a master of escape, a fluid being that can pour itself through stone. But in the abyss, that same bonelessness makes it immune to the crushing pressure, a body in perfect harmony with the immense weight of the world. Its brilliant, curious mind is its compass. In the shallows, it allows the octopus to map its complex neighborhood and learn the rhythm of the tides. But in the deep, that same mind becomes a master of conservation, a quiet calculator of energy that allows it to live a life of perfect, patient efficiency. Its arms, those 8 intelligent counselors, are its windows to the world. On the reef, they taste and touch, deciphering the intricate landscape. But in the absolute darkness of the vents and the abyss, they become its eyes, reading the story of the world through the language of chemicals and faint vibrations. The octopus, then, is more than just a clever animal. It is a living lesson in the art of adaptation. It is a profound symbol of resilience, a quiet testament to the idea that strength is not found in rigidity, but in flexibility. It teaches us that a mind does not have to be like our own to be brilliant, and that a body does not need bone to be strong. Its ability to find a home in every corner of the ocean, to thrive in light and in darkness, in warmth and in cold, in chaos and in peace, is a quiet, powerful reminder of the boundless creativity of life on our planet. It shows us that there is not just one right way to live, but an infinite number of beautiful, successful ways, so long as the mind and the body remain open to change. And so, let this be our final peaceful thought. Let the image of this quiet, intelligent spirit be your guide as you drift now towards sleep. Let your own mind become as fluid and as free as the octopus, letting go of the solid thoughts and worries of the day. Feel the gentle, swaying peace of the kelp forest. Feel the deep, profound stillness of the abyss. Know that just as the octopus is at home in every corner of the ocean, you can be at home in this quiet, peaceful moment. The world is full of hidden wonders, of silent, resilient beauty, and all of it is unfolding right now in a gentle, perfect rhythm. There is nothing you need to do, and nowhere you need to be. Just rest. Let the quiet darkness of this moment be your reef, your forest, your own peaceful abyss, and drift now into a deep and untroubled sleep. In our last journey together, we drifted through the many homes of the octopus. We saw it as a master of survival, a peaceful resident of every hidden realm, from the swaying kelp forest to the crushing silent abyss. We have come to know this creature through its profound resilience, its quiet defenses, and its ability to blend into the world around it, becoming a gentle ghost in its own home. Tonight, we will shift our gaze ever so slightly. We will witness this same intelligent, graceful being in a different, though equally peaceful role, not as the hunted, but as the hunter. The octopus's hunt is not an act of aggression. It is a silent, deliberate art form. It is a dance of infinite patience, a display of profound intelligence, and a masterclass in quiet strategy. It does not rely on the overwhelming speed of a shark or the raw, muscular power of an eel. Its success comes from a mind that can outthink its prey at every turn, a mind that moves through the world with a gentle curiosity and a deep understanding of its surroundings. We will see tonight that the same genius the octopus uses to hide from the world, it also uses to move through that world as a silent, inescapable predator. We will drift alongside it as it performs its quiet and clever tactics. We will witness the slow, invisible stalk, where the octopus becomes a patient, moving shadow, flowing over the sea floor without a sound. We will see it set clever traps, using its sensitive arms to gently probe the reef for hidden treasures. We will learn of its secret, chemical weapons, tools of silent chemistry that can bypass the strongest defenses, and we will see it transcend its own body, wielding tools with a foresight that is a true mark of genius. And so we begin with its most fundamental and most magical skill. We have seen the octopus become one with the reef to hide from those that would harm it. We know that its ability to disappear is its greatest defense, but how does this master of vanishing turn this same magic to its advantage? How does it use the art of becoming nothing to move through the sunlit world, not as a ghost fleeing for its life, but as a silent, invisible predator stalking its prey in plain sight? The octopus's greatest secret, its ability to vanish, is a coin with two faces. On one side, it is the art of defense, a way to avoid the dangers of its world. On the other, as we will now see, it is the art of the perfect silent hunt. The magic it uses to hide is the same magic it uses to seek. Let us watch as one begins its quiet hunt. A small unsuspecting crab is picking its way across a patch of sand near a garden of colourful sponges. The octopus sees it from a distance, and the hunt begins not with a burst of speed, but with a slow, deliberate calmness. It keeps its body low to the ground, a flowing shadow moving with an almost unbelievable grace. Its movements are a silent ballet. As it drifts over a patch of white sand, its skin becomes the very colour and texture of that sand. When it reaches a stretch of ground dotted with small dark pebbles, its skin ripples and shifts, becoming a perfect, mottled replica of the stones beneath it. It is wearing the seafloor like a moving cloak, its body a living, breathing landscape. It does not run across the world, it flows with it. This gentle, patient approach is a symphony of the senses. Its large, intelligent eyes are fixed on its prey, noticing every tiny twitch of an antenna, every skittering step. Its arms, some trailing ever so slightly behind, are tasting the water, gathering the faint chemical story of the crab that is carried on the gentle current. The sensitive skin on its body can feel the faintest vibrations through the sand, a quiet map of the world unfolding around it. It is a state of total, peaceful awareness, a deep and silent focus. The octopus does not need to lunge or strike from a distance. Its camouflage is so perfect, its movements so patient, that it can get impossibly close. It flows over the last few inches of open sand, a silent, undetected whisper of life. The final move is not a violent attack, but a sudden, soft envelopment. Its webbed arms, which were trailing behind, extend in a single fluid motion, a gentle, inescapable blanket that descends upon the crab before it even has a chance to register danger. There is no chase, no struggle. The hunt was won long before this final, quiet moment. It was won with infinite patience, with perfect, silent stealth, and with the magic of becoming nothing at all. This patient, invisible hunt is a masterpiece of quiet deception. It works perfectly when the prey is out in the open, moving across the sea floor. But what happens when a meal is not so easily seen? What clever tricks does the intelligent octopus use when its food is hidden from view, buried beneath the sand, or tucked away deep inside a coral crevice that its body cannot reach? We have seen how the octopus can become a living ghost, a silent, flowing shadow that can approach its prey without ever being seen. Its patient, invisible stalk is a masterpiece, but the reef is a city of secrets, and much of its life is tucked away, hidden deep within the labyrinth of coral, or buried peacefully beneath the soft, quiet sand. When the prey will not show itself, the octopus must become more than just a hunter. It must become a detective, a gentle persuader, and a quiet engineer. Imagine the octopus as it comes upon a small, promising crevice in a piece of coral. Its keen eyes cannot see inside, its body cannot fit, but it senses that something might be hiding within, and so it begins a delicate and intelligent investigation. It chooses one of its 8 arms, and with a slow, deliberate grace, it extends that single arm deep into the darkness of the hole. This arm is not just a limb, it is a sentient tool, an extension of its mind. The tip of this arm is packed with millions of chemical sensors and nerve endings, making it as sensitive as a human tongue and as dexterous as a surgeon's fingers. As it glides through the crevice, It is building a map of the hidden space through touch and taste alone. It can feel the texture of the rock, the shape of the tunnel, and then a faint chemical trail. It has tasted the presence of a small shrimp cowering in the darkness, but the shrimp is still too deep to reach. And so the octopus begins the next phase of its clever plan. It becomes a gentle musician. While its one arm remains in the hole, patiently waiting, the octopus uses its other arms to begin softly tapping on the outside of the coral. It creates a quiet, rhythmic drumming, a series of gentle vibrations that travel through the stone. For the shrimp hiding inside, this is a startling and confusing sensation. Its safe, quiet home is suddenly filled with a strange, percussive sound. Panicked, it bolts from its hiding place, seeking a new refuge, and as it darts out of the opening, it flees directly into the soft, waiting embrace of the octopus's other arms. The octopus did not need to chase it. It did not need to force it out. It simply, gently, and intelligently persuaded it to leave. It created a clever, harmless trap, a quiet piece of theatre with a perfectly predicted outcome. Now, let us imagine a different challenge. The octopus drifts over a smooth, empty patch of sand. There is nothing to see, but its senses tell it that a meal is close. Beneath the surface, a small clam lies buried, its hard shell a fortress beneath the sand. The octopus cannot see it, and it cannot reach it, so it changes its strategy once again. It anchors itself firmly to the sea floor, with several of its arms, becoming a stable, unmoving base. Then it aims its funnel, that versatile tube, directly at the sand. With a powerful, focused jet of water, it begins to blow away the sediment. It becomes a living excavator, a gentle and precise sandblaster. It works methodically, clearing away layer after layer, until the pale, round shape of the clam's shell is revealed. It has reshaped the world around it, using the tools of its own body to unearth a hidden treasure. The octopus has shown it can outwit its prey by gently manipulating the world around it. It can probe and flush and dig with a quiet, persistent intelligence. It sees every hunt not as a challenge of strength, but as a puzzle to be solved. But now, it faces the final step of this puzzle. It has revealed the clam, but the clam is sealed tight, its hard shell a natural, impenetrable fortress. How does the octopus's boneless, flexible body and brilliant mind conspire to solve this ultimate puzzle box and claim the reward hidden inside? The octopus floats gently over the clam it has unearthed, a perfect sealed fortress resting on the sand. There is no obvious way in. The shell is a seamless piece of natural armor, a puzzle box with no visible key. For the octopus, however, there is always a way. Its mind, so patient and creative, begins to consider its options, and it has several. This patient, invisible hunt is a masterpiece of quiet deception. It works perfectly when the prey is out in the open, moving across the sea floor. But what happens when a meal is not so easily seen? What clever tricks does the intelligent octopus use when its food is hidden from view, buried beneath the sand, or tucked away deep inside a coral crevice that its body cannot reach? We have seen how the octopus can become a living ghost, a silent, flowing shadow that can approach its prey without ever being seen. Its patient, invisible stalk is a masterpiece, but the reef is a city of secrets, and much of its life is tucked away, hidden deep within the labyrinth of coral, or buried peacefully beneath the soft, quiet sand. When the prey will not show itself, the octopus must become more than just a hunter. It must become a detective, a gentle persuader, and a quiet engineer. Imagine the octopus as it comes upon a small, promising crevice in a piece of coral. Its keen eyes cannot see inside, its body cannot fit, but it senses that something might be hiding within, and so it begins a delicate and intelligent investigation. It chooses one of its 8 arms, and with a slow, deliberate grace, it extends that single arm deep into the darkness of the hole. This arm is not just a limb, it is a sentient tool, an extension of its mind. The tip of this arm is packed with millions of chemical sensors and nerve endings, making it as sensitive as a human tongue and as dexterous as a surgeon's fingers. As it glides through the crevice, it is building a map of the hidden space through touch and taste alone. It can feel the texture of the rock, the shape of the tunnel, and then a faint chemical trail. It has tasted the presence of a small shrimp cowering in the darkness, but the shrimp is still too deep to reach. And so the octopus begins the next phase of its clever plan. It becomes a gentle musician. While its one arm remains in the hole, patiently waiting, the octopus uses its other arms to begin softly tapping on the outside of the coral. It creates a quiet, rhythmic drumming, a series of gentle vibrations that travel through the stone. For the shrimp hiding inside, this is a startling and confusing sensation. Its safe, quiet home is suddenly filled with a strange, percussive sound. Panicked, it bolts from its hiding place, seeking a new refuge, and as it darts out of the opening, it flees directly into the soft, waiting embrace of the octopus's other arms. The octopus did not need to chase it. It did not need to force it out. It simply, gently, and intelligently persuaded it to leave. It created a clever, harmless trap, a quiet piece of theatre with a perfectly predicted outcome. Now, let us imagine a different challenge. The octopus drifts over a smooth, empty patch of sand. There is nothing to see, but its senses tell it that a meal is close. Beneath the surface, a small clam lies buried, its hard shell a fortress beneath the sand. The octopus cannot see it, and it cannot reach it, so it changes its strategy once again. It anchors itself firmly to the sea floor, with several of its arms, becoming a stable, unmoving base. Then it aims its funnel, that versatile tube, directly at the sand. With a powerful, focused jet of water, it begins to blow away the sediment. It becomes a living excavator, a gentle and precise sandblaster. It works methodically, clearing away layer after layer, until the pale, round shape of the clam's shell is revealed. It has reshaped the world around it, using the tools of its own body to unearth a hidden treasure. The octopus has shown it can outwit its prey by gently manipulating the world around it. It can probe and flush and dig with a quiet, persistent intelligence. It sees every hunt not as a challenge of strength, but as a puzzle to be solved. But now, it faces the final step of this puzzle. It has revealed the clam, but the clam is sealed tight, its hard shell a natural, impenetrable fortress. How does the octopus's boneless, flexible body and brilliant mind conspire to solve this ultimate puzzle box and claim the reward hidden inside? The octopus floats gently over the clam it has unearthed, a perfect sealed fortress resting on the sand. There is no obvious way in. The shell is a seamless piece of natural armor, a puzzle box with no visible key. For the octopus, however, there is always a way. Its mind, so patient and creative, begins to consider its options, and it has several. Its first approach is one of quiet, relentless patience. It envelops the clam with its soft, muscular body, its arms wrapping around the shell. Hundreds of its suckers create a perfect suctioning seal, gripping the two halves of the fortress with an unwavering hold, and then it simply begins to pull. This is not a violent, jerking motion. It is a slow, steady, and incredibly powerful pressure, a silent battle of endurance. The octopus's boneless arms are pure muscle, and they can maintain this immense force for hours, without tiring in the way a creature with a skeleton would. Inside the shell, the clam's own muscles fight back, holding its home tightly shut. But the octopus is relentless. It simply waits, its grip never faltering. Eventually, after a long, quiet struggle, the clam's muscles begin to fatigue. The shell, which was sealed so tightly, begins to open, even if only by a fraction of an inch. But a fraction is all the octopus needs. The puzzle has been solved with pure, quiet persistence. But this is not the octopus's only solution. Sometimes it decides that force is not the most elegant answer. It will instead approach the puzzle as an engineer. It gently picks up the clam or snail, rotating it slowly in its arms, its sensitive suckers feeling every ridge, every contour of the shell. It is not searching for a crack or a weakness. It is searching for the perfect spot. Once it has chosen it, it brings the shell to its mouth, a small hard beak hidden beneath its body. And with the patient, precise movements of a master watchmaker, It begins to drill. It uses the tip of its beak to scrape away at the shell, bit by tiny bit, a slow and methodical process that can take hours. It is not trying to smash the shell, but to create a single, tiny, perfect hole. This tiny hole is the key. The octopus has not broken into the fortress. It has simply created a keyhole, and now it brings its own secret, chemical key. Through this tiny drilled opening, it releases a single drop of its saliva. This saliva is a complex and powerful cocktail. It contains a venom that instantly paralyzes the helpless animal inside the shell, ending its ability to resist. But it does more than that. It also contains powerful enzymes, proteins that begin to gently and slowly dissolve the creature's body, turning it from a solid being into a soft, liquid meal. Once this quiet chemical work is done, the octopus can simply suck the contents out through the tiny hole it created. It has bypassed the fortress wall entirely, using a combination of precise engineering and sophisticated chemistry. And in the warm, sunlit waters of the Pacific, one tiny member of the family has perfected this chemical art to its ultimate degree. The blue-ringed octopus, a beautiful creature no bigger than the palm of your hand, is one of the most masterful hunters of all. When it stalks a crab, it does not need to use strength or even to drill. Its secret is in its bite. It will approach its prey, and with a tiny, almost imperceptible nip from its beak, it delivers one of the most powerful neurotoxins in the natural world. The crab is paralyzed instantly. The beautiful, iridescent blue rings that give this octopus its name, which pulse and glow when it is threatened, are a quiet warning of the incredible power it holds within. It is a hunter that has become so efficient it needs almost no physical effort at all. Solving a puzzle box with a drill and a venomous saliva is a testament to the octopus's remarkable biological gifts, but its mind allows it to think beyond its own body. What happens when it decides its own weapons are not quite right for the job? What happens when it begins to wield the tools and even the weapons of other creatures to gain an advantage? We have witnessed the octopus as a patient stalker, a clever trapper, and a master chemist. We have seen it use its own remarkable body to solve every puzzle the ocean has presented to it. But the genius of the octopus does not end with the tools it was born with. Its quiet, contemplative mind is capable of a stunning creative leap. It can look at the world around it, at the objects and even the other creatures of the reef, and it can see not just what they are, but what they could be. It can invent a new purpose for something, and in doing so, it becomes one of the very few animals on our planet that can be called a true tool-wielding hunter. Let us drift now into the warm, open waters of the ocean, where we find one of the most beautiful and ethereal of all cephalopods, the blanket octopus. She is a creature of pure, flowing grace, with long, elegant arms connected by a shimmering, cape-like webbing that she can spread out like a magnificent silken blanket. And she has a remarkable secret. For reasons we do not fully understand, she is immune to the powerful, stinging venom of the Portuguese man-o'-war, a creature whose beautiful, balloon-like sail belies the dangerous, toxic tentacles that drift beneath it. Other animals avoid this floating colony of pain, but the blanket octopus seeks it out. She does not approach it as prey, she approaches it as an armory. With a delicate, precise touch, she will carefully break off the man-o'-war's long, stinging tentacles, and then she will carry them, holding them gently in the suckers of her arms. She now wields a weapon that is not her own. When she hunts for small fish or shrimp, she will use these stolen venomous threads like a pair of whips, lashing out to sting and paralyze her prey. It is a staggering act of intelligence. She must first understand that the man-o'-war's sting is a weapon. She must then realize that this weapon can be detached. And finally, she must conceive of the idea of using it for her own purposes. She has not just learned to avoid danger, she has learned to harvest it. This same inventive spark can be seen in a different way on the sandy plains of Indonesia. Here we once again meet the veined octopus, the quiet engineer that carries coconut shells across the sea floor. We have seen it use this behavior for defense, creating a portable fortress to hide in. But now we can see this act in a new light. It is not just a shield, it is a hunting blind. The octopus will carry its two shells to a promising spot, a place where it knows small, tasty shrimp are likely to wander by, and then it will settle down, pulling the two halves of the shell around itself until it is completely hidden from view. It has not just vanished, it has built itself a tiny portable hunting lodge. It can now peer out through a small, almost invisible crack, watching the world go by with no one knowing it is there. It can wait with perfect patience, completely protected, until an unsuspecting shrimp ambles past its front door. And in that moment, it erupts from its armoured shelter. A sudden and complete surprise. It has used a simple, discarded object to give itself the ultimate predatory advantage, a perfect, portable ambush. These are not tricks learned by rote. These are acts of true, abstract thought. To see a coconut shell and imagine a house. To see a dangerous tentacle and imagine a tool. This is the mark of a mind that can plan, that can understand cause and effect, and that can look at the world with a quiet, brilliant creativity. The octopus is not just reacting to its environment, it is actively shaping it, using it, and reimagining it to suit its needs. From the patient stalk to wielding the weapons of others, the octopus is clearly not just a predator, but a thoughtful strategist. How do these quiet, intelligent tactics stand up when compared to the brute force and raw speed of the ocean's other great hunters? What is the octopus's true place in the grand, silent drama of the sea? Our journey alongside the quiet hunter is now coming to a gentle close. We have seen it move through its world, not with aggression, but with a deep and thoughtful grace. And this leads us to our final, quiet question. In the grand, silent drama of the sea, filled with so many powerful hunters, what is the octopus's true place? The ocean has its masters of raw speed, like the swift silver barracuda. It has its masters of pure muscular power, like the formidable moray eel, and it has its masters of ancient predatory perfection, like the shark. Each of these is a beautiful and successful hunter, but the octopus does not compete on their terms. It holds a unique and special place among them. It is the ocean's thoughtful predator. We have witnessed its quiet and beautiful arts tonight. We saw the invisible stalk, a dance of infinite patience, where the octopus becomes a living, moving piece of the seafloor. We saw it become a detective, gently probing and tapping to persuade a hidden meal to reveal itself. We watched it approach a sealed shell, not as a wall, but as a puzzle box, to be solved with a slow, steady strength, or the quiet ingenuity of a drill and a drop of venom. And finally, in a display of true genius, we saw it look beyond its own body, wielding coconut shells as a hunting blind and stolen tentacles as a weapon. The octopus thrives not because it is the fastest, nor because it is the strongest. It thrives because it is, perhaps, the most creative. It is the strategist, the engineer, and the artist of the hunt. Each new challenge is not met with a louder roar, but with a quieter thought. It survives through observation, through memory, and through a stunning ability to invent a new solution for every new problem it faces. It does not overpower its world, it outwits it, with a gentle and persistent grace. And so let this be the final peaceful image that you carry with you into your rest. Do not picture the hunt as an act of violence, but as an act of quiet, focused intelligence. See the octopus not as a fearsome predator, but as a patient, thoughtful being, a master of its world through its wits and its profound connection to its home. The greatest power in nature, I each add, is not always the one that makes the most noise. Often it is the one that is the most quiet, the most gentle, and the most intelligent. Let that quiet, thoughtful peace be your own now. Let your mind become as calm and as focused as the octopus in its silent, graceful hunt. And let this feeling of gentle, intelligent peace be your guide as you drift now into a deep and untroubled sleep. In our last journey together, we drifted alongside the octopus as the thoughtful predator. We witnessed its quiet, graceful, and intelligent art of the hunt. We have explored its secret mind, its many hidden homes, and the clever strategies it uses to thrive in its world. We have come to know this creature from the inside, looking out. But tonight, in our final exploration, we will gently turn the lens around. For as long as we have been watching the octopus, it has, in its own silent and mysterious way, been watching us. Our journey this evening is a different kind of story. It is the story of a long, complex, and ever-changing relationship between our two worlds. It is a story that begins in the deepest, most ancient shadows of our own minds, in a time of myth and fear, and slowly, gently, emerges into the soft light of fascination, of science, and of a profound, newfound respect. We will travel from a time when the octopus was a monster of legend, a creature born of our deepest anxieties about the unknown, to the quiet, modern laboratories, where it is now seen as a marvel of biology and a teacher of life's most beautiful secrets. This is not just a story about an animal, it is a story about us. It is the story of how knowledge can gently conquer fear. It is the story of how simple curiosity can blossom into a deep and lasting wonder. And it is the story of how empathy can build a quiet bridge between two completely different minds, two completely different ways of being in the world. So let us begin this final journey at the very beginning of our shared story, in an age of wooden ships and endless open seas, an age of myth. For thousands of years, long before we knew what the octopus truly was, we told stories about it as a monster lurking in the dark, a creature of nightmare born from the terrifying depths. What were these ancient tales? And how did the image of a giant, ship-crushing beast like the kraken capture the human imagination so completely, shaping our relationship with the ocean for centuries to come? Our journey takes us back now, far back, to a time when the world was mapped by stories as much as by coastlines. Let your mind drift to the cold, misty waters of the North Sea, to a world of endless grey waves and skies filled with wheeling gulls. Imagine yourself aboard a small wooden ship, a tiny, fragile shell of humanity on an immense and indifferent ocean. The only sounds are the creak of the timber, the snap of the sail, and the low, hushed tones of sailors sharing stories to keep the great, empty silence at bay. And in these quiet moments, they would speak of the kraken. The legend was not a tale of frantic action, but of a slow, creeping, and terrible awe. It began with strange signs. The sailors would notice the water becoming shallow when they were miles from any shore, a sign that a great mass was rising from the deep beneath them. The fish would vanish, fleeing from a vast, approaching shadow. And then the surface of the water would begin to boil and churn, and from the depths a creature would emerge, a being so immense it was said to be the size of a floating island, its back a landscape of rock and seaweed. This was the kraken. Its great, unblinking eyes would rise from the water, and its arms, thick as the mightiest ship's mast, could uncurl and reach for the ski, wrapping around the vessel and pulling it down, down into the silent, cold, and waiting abyss. This story, told and retold in the dim light of swaying lanterns, was so powerful because it was more than just a tale of a monster. The kraken was a symbol of the vast, unknowable mystery of the ocean itself. In an age before science could explain the deep, the ocean was a realm of pure, terrifying magic. It was a force that could be calm and beautiful one moment, and a furious, churning chaos the next. The kraken was the living embodiment of this awesome power, a physical form for humanity's deepest fears about the natural world. It was a story about how small we are, and how immense, ancient, and indifferent the world around us can be. And like all great myths, it was likely born from a seed of truth. Imagine a sailor, alone on watch in the middle of the night, peering into the black water and seeing, for just a fleeting second, a single enormous eye staring back, an eye the size of a dinner plate before it vanished back into the deep. Imagine a different ship finding a single colossal tentacle, washed up on a remote shore, a rubbery arm longer than their entire vessel, covered in suckers as big as cups, with no way to understand what they were seeing, no context for a creature like the giant squid. Their minds would do the only thing they could. They would create a monster to explain the impossible. This deep primal fear of a many-armed sea monster was not confined to the cold northern seas. It was a story our ancestors told Claude all over the world. In the waters of Japan, the Ainu people spoke of the Akorakamui, a colossal octopus-like creature that lurked in the bay, its red glowing body a terrifying omen. In ancient Greece, sailors told tales of the Scylla, a monster with many heads and grasping tentacles that would snatch men from the decks of their ships. It seemed that wherever humans took to the sea, their imagination populated the depths with a version of this same terrifying, intelligent, and powerful beast. Later, these myths were given a new and powerful life in the pages of our greatest books. We can drift through the ink of Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and witness the famous, desperate battle between the crew of the Nautilus and a giant cephalopod. We can feel the cold terror in Victor Hugo's Toilers of the Sea, as a man finds himself in a life-or-death struggle, his arm trapped by a creature he calls a devilfish. These powerful stories, read by millions, cemented the image of the octopus as a malevolent, aggressive, and monstrous foe for generations. And perhaps the fear came from a place even deeper than its size or its strength. It came from its profound and unsettling alienness. Its body was boneless, a creature of flowing liquid grace in a world of rigid skeletons. Its gaze was cold, unblinking, and unnervingly intelligent. And its arms, all 8 of them, moved with a strange, independent life. It was a monster to us because it defied our every expectation of what a living creature should be. It felt like a being from another world, a silent, thinking alien living right here in the hidden depths of our own. These powerful myths, born from a deep and understandable fear of the unknown, painted the octopus as a monster for centuries. But as our ships grew stronger, our tools for exploring the ocean became more sophisticated, and our courage grew with our knowledge. That ancient fear, on slowly, gently, began to give way to a new and even more powerful feeling: curiosity. How did the quiet, careful work of the first marine biologists begin to dismantle the legend of the kraken and replace the image of a monster with the scientific portrait of a complex and fascinating animal? The age of monsters could not last forever. As our ships became stronger and our journeys longer, the world began to feel a little smaller, a little less terrifying. The great empty spaces on our maps began to fill in with coastlines and currents, and with this new knowledge came a new kind of courage. The primal fear of the unknown slowly, gently, began to fade, replaced by a new, powerful human drive, the desire to understand. We entered the age of naturalism, and the octopus, the great monster of the deep, was about to be seen in a completely new light. Great scientific voyages set sail across the globe, their purpose not to conquer or to trade, but simply to see, to collect, and to learn. On board these ships were quiet, patient naturalists, men and women armed not with harpoons, but with sketchbooks, magnifying glasses, and collecting jars. And when their nets were pulled up from the deep, they would sometimes find, tangled among the fish and the seaweed, a soft-bodied, many-armed creature. They did not see a monster. They saw a specimen, a puzzle, a magnificent new piece in the grand story of life on Earth. The kraken of myth was brought out of the terrifying sea and into the quiet, ordered world of the laboratory. Imagine the sense of profound wonder these first scientists must have felt. As they began the gentle work of dissecting and studying this creature, every discovery they made only deepened the mystery and the awe. This was not a creature of simple, brutish design. It was a masterpiece of biology, a being built on a completely different set of rules from anything they knew. They found that it had not 1 but 3 hearts, all of them gently pumping a blood that was not red, but a beautiful pale blue, rich with copper instead of iron. They discovered a brain that was not a single solid organ, but a ring of neural tissue wrapped delicately around its throat, a mind that the animal's own food must pass through. And they traced a nervous system that did not end in the brain, but flowed outwards, down into its 8 arms, giving each limb a startling degree of independence, as if each arm had a quiet mind of its own. The creature in the jar was not a monster, it was a biological marvel, an elegant, alien design for life that was more wondrous than any myth. And then came a change that would transform our relationship with the octopus forever. In the grand cities of the 19th century, the first public aquariums were built. For the very first time, people from all walks of life, people who had only ever known the octopus through terrifying stories or drawings in a book, could stand before a living, breathing one. Imagine the scene: a quiet, darkened hall, the only light coming from the gentle blue glow of the tanks. And there, separated by a thick pane of glass, was the creature of legend. But it was not a beast of fury. It was a shy, graceful, and intensely curious animal. People could watch as it flowed through the water with a silent, boneless grace. They could witness, with their own eyes, the instantaneous magical ripple of colour across its skin. They saw a creature that would retreat into its rocky den when frightened, or gently reach out a curious arm to investigate a new shape or a friendly face. In these quiet, peaceful halls, the ancient fear of the kraken began to dissolve, replaced, for millions of people, by a feeling of deep and profound fascination. And from these new aquatic homes, strange and wonderful stories began to emerge. The keepers, the people who spent every day with these creatures, started to share whispers of their intelligence. They told stories of octopuses that had learned the keepers' schedules and would sneak out of their own tanks at night, crawl across the wet floor to a neighbouring tank to steal a fish, and be back in their own homes before the lights came on in the morning. They spoke of octopuses that would deliberately squirt jets of water at keepers they seemed to dislike, or at lights they found annoying. And they were the first to witness, with a mix of frustration and awe, an octopus learn how to patiently, deliberately unscrew a jar from the inside to get a treat. These were not yet rigorous scientific studies. They were quiet observations, anecdotes shared in hallways. But they were the first true hints of the profound, problem-solving mind that we have come to know. The legend of the monster was fading, and in its place, a new and far more interesting puzzle was beginning to take shape. The puzzle of a quiet, lonely, and brilliant mind. Science had brought the octopus out of the terrifying darkness of myth and into the gentle light of observation. We had begun to understand its strange and beautiful body, and we had seen the first glimmers of its genius, but simply observing its form and its curious behaviours was not enough. How did modern science take the next great leap, looking inside the octopus's unique mind not just to understand the animal itself, but to unlock the fundamental secrets of how memory, learning, and even consciousness can evolve? We leave now the grand public halls of the first aquariums, with their quiet whispers of a strange and clever mind. We drift from the world of anecdote and into the world of gentle, patient science, where the puzzle of the octopus mind is being explored with a new and deeper respect. The octopus has become a quiet and generous teacher, and it is helping us to unlock the most profound secrets, not just about its world, but about our own. For the scientists who study the brain, the octopus is a treasure beyond measure. It is a gift from the deep currents of time. Imagine that for all of human history, we had only ever found one book, a single ancient text that described how to build a complex mind. That book would be the story of our own evolution, the story of vertebrates, of fish and reptiles and birds and mammals. We could study it forever, but we would never know if its rules were the only rules. We would never know if consciousness could be written in a different language. And then, one day, we discovered a second book, a text written on a completely separate branch of the tree of life, a story of intelligence that has been unfolding, untouched by our own, for more than 500 million years. That second book is the mind of the octopus. By reading it, by gently deciphering its secrets, we can finally begin to understand which parts of our own minds are a product of our unique history, and which are the universal, fundamental laws of thought itself. And the first chapter of this strange, beautiful book tells a story of a mind built in a way we never thought possible. We have always imagined intelligence as a kingdom ruled from a single central castle, the brain in our head, sending out commands to the rest of the body. But the octopus teaches us that a mind can also be a gentle, harmonious council. 2/3 of its neurons, its thinking cells, are not in its central brain at all, but are woven throughout its 8 arms. Each arm is a quiet, intelligent governor of its own province. It can feel, taste, and move with a startling independence, solving small problems on its own, all while the central brain rests in a state of quiet, peaceful observation. This idea of a distributed intelligence is a profound revelation. It suggests that a mind does not have to be a loud dictatorship, but can be a quiet, cooperative network. a silent dance of many minds working as one. This beautiful alien design is not just teaching us about the nature of thought, it is inspiring a new and gentle future for our own technology. For decades, we have built our machines in our own image, rigid, with hard skeletons and clunky joints, but the octopus offers a different path. Its body, with its infinite flexibility, its boneless grace, and its soft, quiet strength, is the inspiration for a revolutionary new field called soft robotics. Imagine, in the future, a rescue robot built like an octopus, able to gently pour its soft body through the rubble of a collapsed building to find survivors without causing further harm. Imagine a surgeon's tool, inspired by the delicate, precise movements of an octopus arm, able to perform a complex operation inside the human body with a touch that is softer and safer than any rigid instrument. The octopus is teaching us a lesson that our own world is just beginning to learn, that the greatest strength is not always found in hardness and rigidity, but in the power of being gentle, adaptable, and soft. And in the quietest, most patient studies of all, the octopus is helping us to understand the beautiful mystery of memory. Scientists have discovered that an octopus can learn a new, complex task simply by watching another octopus perform it. This is a profound discovery. It shows a capacity for social learning in a creature we have always thought of as completely solitary. It suggests a mind that is aware of the experience of another. By studying how the octopus's simple, elegant brain achieves this, we gain precious insight into the fundamental ways that memories are formed, stored, and retrieved. It is a quiet quest that helps us to better understand the workings of our own minds and the gentle, fragile nature of our own memories. The octopus has become a teacher of profound secrets, its alien mind offering us new ways to think about ourselves, and its gentle body inspiring a new and hopeful kind of technology. And as the quiet truths revealed by science began to seep into our wider culture, our relationship with this creature began to shift once more. The octopus was no longer just a specimen in a jar or a model in a lab. It was becoming something more, something closer to a kindred spirit. How did one simple, beautiful film about a man and an octopus in a quiet South African kelp forest manage to capture the heart of the entire world and forever change our emotional connection to these ancient, intelligent beings? Science gave us a profound new understanding of the octopus. It unveiled the secrets of its alien biology. It mapped the pathways of its unique mind, and it gave us a blueprint for a gentler, more adaptable technology. The octopus had become a subject of deep intellectual respect. But our journey with this creature was not yet complete. For our relationship to truly change, the octopus had to travel from our minds into our hearts. And that final emotional journey was sparked not by a scientific paper, but by a simple, quiet, and beautiful story. In a kelp forest off the coast of South Africa, a man, feeling lost and disconnected from his own life, decided to immerse himself in the cold, quiet world of the ocean every day. And in that silent, swaying forest, he met someone. It was a small, common octopus. He did not approach her as a scientist, with tools for measuring and collecting. He came simply as a quiet observer, a respectful visitor in her world. And day after day, as he returned to her den, a slow, gentle, and miraculous thing happened. A relationship formed. A trust was built. This is the story told in the film My Octopus Teacher, and its gentle power managed to capture the heart of the entire world. The secret to the film's profound impact was in its quiet, revolutionary approach. For generations, nature documentaries had presented animals as objects of study, fascinating it to be observed from a distance. But this was not a story about an octopus. This was the story of her. This simple, profound shift in language changed everything. It invited the audience to see the world from her perspective. We did not just learn about her clever hunting strategies. We felt the quiet satisfaction of her success. We did not just observe her incredible camouflage. We felt the tension of her fear as a shark glided past. We witnessed her as a daughter, a hunter, a mother, and a survivor. Her life was not a series of biological functions. It was a drama, a story with a beginning, a middle, and a gentle, heartbreaking end. She was no longer a specimen. She was a protagonist. And through this gentle, personal story, we began to see ourselves. The narrator, a human being feeling adrift in his own world, found a sense of purpose and healing through his connection to this wild, intelligent animal. His journey became our own. We felt his quiet joy as the octopus, for the first time, reached out a curious arm and gently touched his hand. We shared his sense of wonder, his profound respect, and his deep, quiet love for this creature from another world. The film was not just about an octopus. It was about the healing power of connecting with nature and the possibility of forming a meaningful relationship across the immense gulf between two completely different kinds of minds. The film's release created a gentle tidal wave of change in our culture. It sparked a global conversation, not just about octopuses, but about the very nature of intelligence, emotion, and consciousness in the animal world. People who had never given a second thought to marine biology were suddenly captivated by the life story of a small invertebrate in a kelp forest. The octopus became an overnight cultural icon, a global ambassador for the quiet, hidden wonders of the ocean. It was a beautiful and final reversal of its ancient role. For centuries, it had been our monster, a symbol of our fear of the deep. Now, it had become our teacher, a symbol of the beauty, intelligence, and fragility of that same world. This film did not create this change alone, but it was the crest of a growing wave. In our books, our art, and our stories, we have slowly been replacing the myth of the kraken with a new and more truthful myth. The myth of the octopus as a wise, ancient, and sentient being. We have finally, after centuries of fear and misunderstanding, learned to see it not as a monster to be fought or a specimen to be studied, but as a fellow mind, a kindred spirit, a quiet and gentle intelligence sharing this planet with us. And this newfound love, this deep emotional connection we have finally forged with the octopus, has come at a critical time. For as we have finally learned to see the octopus as a fellow mind, a teacher, we have also become more aware than ever of its fragile place in the world. This awareness has brought with it a new and profound sense of responsibility. As we have finally learned to love this fragile genius, what threats does it now face from our own rapidly changing world, and what does the future hold for our quiet, intelligent teacher? Our journey with the octopus has brought us to a place of deep, quiet respect. We have moved from the darkness of myth into the gentle light of understanding, and now, finally, into the warmth of a true, heartfelt connection. We have learned to see the octopus not as a monster or a specimen, but as a fellow mind, a teacher, a fragile and brilliant consciousness sharing this world with us. And this newfound love, this quiet empathy, has come at a critical time, for it brings with it a profound and gentle sense of responsibility. As we have finally learned to see the octopus, we must also see the new and subtle challenges it now faces, not from the ancient predators of the sea, but from the quiet, pervasive changes of our own modern world. Our drift now takes us through waters that are subtly different from the ones we have visited before. We can see the impact of our own busy world in the quiet corners of theirs. In some parts of the ocean, the octopus is now caught in vast nets, sometimes as the intended prize, but more often as a silent, accidental victim in the hunt for other species. Its populations, once so stable, are in some places beginning to thin, a quiet fading of a once constant presence, and its many beautiful homes, which we have explored with such wonder, are also changing. Let your mind drift back to the sunlit labyrinth of the coral reef. In some places, the vibrant colours we remember are beginning to pale, the brilliant pinks and greens and blues gently bleaching into a ghostly white as the water around them warms. The living fortress of the octopus is becoming a city of ghosts. Let us then drift to the great swaying cathedrals of the kelp. These cool water forests, which need the chill of the deep to thrive, are also feeling the encroaching warmth, their majestic amber canopies beginning to shrink away from shores where they once stood for centuries. And even in the deepest, most remote abyss, the silent floor is now scarred in places by the heavy nets of deep-sea trawlers, destroying the fragile, ancient habitats that are the only homes for the ethereal spirits of the deep. It is a slow, quiet, and profound change, a gentle challenge to the resilience of even this master survivor. But our story together is not one of despair, it is one of wonder, and that wonder brings with it a gentle but powerful current of hope. For as our understanding of these challenges has grown, so too has our desire to protect this creature and the quiet, beautiful worlds it calls home. All across our planet, we have begun to create vast marine protected areas. Imagine these as great national parks of the sea, quiet, underwater gardens where the octopus and all of its neighbours are given a safe and lasting sanctuary. In these sacred waters, there is no fishing, no dredging, no disruption. It is a promise we have made to the ocean, a promise to leave some parts of it as wild, as beautiful, and as peaceful as we found them. And this current of hope flows all the way back to us, in our own daily lives. It flows into the quiet, thoughtful choices we can make, choosing to support those who fish in a way that honours the balance of the sea, ensuring that the hunt for our own food does not harm the homes of others. The same science that first unveiled the genius of the octopus is now its greatest guardian. Quiet, dedicated researchers are our eyes beneath the waves, helping us to understand the needs of these creatures, to track the health of their populations, and to make wise, gentle decisions for their future. And our new respect has brought us to a new and profound ethical shore. It has created a question that would have been unthinkable in the age of the Kraken, but which we must now ask from the depths of our hearts. There are some who now propose to farm the octopus, to raise these intelligent, curious beings by the thousands in small, sterile tanks. And because we now know what we know, we must pause. We must ask ourselves, what is a good life for a mind like this? Can a creature that evolved to explore a complex reef, to solve intricate puzzles, and to experience a world of endless texture and sensation, truly be at peace in a small empty box? It is a question born not of judgment, but of respect. It is perhaps the ultimate test of all that we have learned. We have journeyed from the misty shores of myth to the clear sunlit waters of modern science. We have seen the octopus as a survivor, a hunter, a genius, and a teacher. And now we see it as a fragile treasure, a quiet life that is intertwined with our own. As we prepare to leave this gentle underwater world for the very last time, let us ask one final question. After all these journeys together, through its mind, its homes, its strategies, and our own changing hearts, what is the ultimate peaceful lesson the octopus leaves with us as we drift now back to the silent shore of our own world? The ultimate lesson the octopus leaves with us is a quiet and gentle one, a piece of wisdom carried on the deep, silent currents of the ocean. It is a lesson in the power of being fluid, of meeting a hard world with a soft and open mind. It is a lesson in the beauty of curiosity and the profound, peaceful wonder of a life so completely different from our own. The octopus teaches us that strength can be silent, that intelligence can be gentle, and that some of the greatest mysteries in the universe are the ones that are the most quiet. Our long journey together is now at its end. We have drifted through so many of the ocean's secret rooms. We began our exploration by witnessing a single clever octopus in a moment of brilliant, vanishing defense. From there, we met its remarkable family, the hypnotic cuttlefish, painting its feelings on its own skin, the swift, silent squid, an arrow in the deep, and the ancient, serene nautilus, a living fossil carrying time in its perfect spiral shell. We travelled with the octopus to its many homes, from the sunlit, dangerous labyrinth of the reef to the crushing, absolute peace of the abyss, and saw how it made each world its own. We watched, with a quiet and deep respect, as it performed its thoughtful art of the hunt, a display of intelligence conquering force. And finally, we saw our own story reflected in its journey, a story of how our human hearts slowly, gently, travel from fear to fascination, and at last, to a place of profound and lasting love. And so, let your mind become as fluid and as peaceful as the octopus itself now. Let go of the rigid, solid thoughts of the day. Let your worries dissolve like ink in the water. Allow yourself to drift on the gentle, silent currents of your own breathing. Feel the slow, rhythmic sway of the kelp forest in the rise and fall of your own chest. Settle into the deep, quiet peace of the abyss that lies within your own mind, a place of perfect stillness and calm. There is no puzzle you need to solve. There is no need to hold on. There is only the gentle, rhythmic pulse of the ocean's breath, a breath that connects all living things, a breath that you are a part of. The quiet, intelligent spirit of the octopus is a symbol of the peace that can always be found in the deep, silent parts of the world and within ourselves. Let that profound, silent peace be your own now. Let it cradle you and let it guide you as you drift off into a deep and wonderfully untroubled sleep. We have journeyed from the misty shores of myth to the clear, sunlit waters of modern science. We have seen the octopus as a survivor, a hunter, a genius, and a teacher. And now we see it as a fragile treasure, a quiet life that is intertwined with our own. As we prepare to leave this gentle underwater world for the very last time, let us ask one final question. After all these journeys together, through its mind, its homes, its strategies, and our own changing hearts, what is the ultimate, peaceful lesson the octopus leaves with us as we drift now back to the silent shore of our own world? The ultimate lesson the octopus leaves with us is a quiet and gentle one, a piece of wisdom carried on the deep, silent currents of the ocean. It is a lesson in the power of being fluid, of meeting a hard world with a soft and open mind. It is a lesson in the beauty of curiosity and the profound, peaceful wonder of a life so completely different from our own. The octopus teaches us that strength can be silent, that intelligence can be gentle, and that some of the greatest mysteries in the universe are the ones that are the most quiet. Our long journey together is now at its end. We have drifted through so many of the ocean's secret rooms. We began our exploration by witnessing a single clever octopus in a moment of brilliant, vanishing defense. From there, we met its remarkable family, the hypnotic cuttlefish, painting its feelings on its own skin, the swift, silent squid, an arrow in the deep, and the ancient, serene nautilus, a living fossil carrying time in its perfect spiral shell. We travelled with the octopus to its many homes, from the sunlit, dangerous labyrinth of the reef to the crushing, absolute peace of the abyss, and saw how it made each world its own. We watched, with a quiet and deep respect, as it performed its thoughtful art of the hunt, a display of intelligence conquering force. And finally, we saw our own story reflected in its journey, a story of how our human hearts slowly, gently, travel from fear to fascination, and at last to a place of profound and lasting love. And so let your mind become as fluid and as peaceful as the octopus itself now. Let go of the rigid, solid thoughts of the day. Let your worries dissolve like ink in the water. Allow yourself to drift on the gentle, silent currents of your own breathing. Feel the slow, rhythmic sway of the kelp forest in the rise and fall of your own chest. Settle into the deep, quiet peace of the abyss that lies within your own mind, a place of perfect stillness and calm. There is no puzzle you need to solve. There is no need to hold on. There is only the gentle, rhythmic pulse of the ocean's breath, a breath that connects all living things, a breath that you are a part of. The quiet, intelligent spirit of the octopus is a symbol of the peace that can always be found in the deep, silent parts of the world and within ourselves. Let that profound, silent peace be your own. Now let it cradle you and let it guide you as you drift off into a deep and wonderfully untroubled sleep.